So this is basically just a quick video on all those people who basically ask, what gun should I get? These are my main guns, right? So what gun should you get? First of all, that is a very open question that you are going to get wildly different answers. The actual answer is what you want, right? But if you are new and you haven't played yet, rent. Go to different sites. Make sure they've got different guns. Some have M4s, some have AKs, some have smaller M4s and your smaller AKs. Some have the G36s. You know, there's the odd ones that might have an AUG or an L85 SA80 thing. Or hell, there might even be one that has like an MP5 if it's a CQB. Or your CQBs might also rent out pistols. Little AEPs maybe. You need to know how you want to play and what platforms you like. The other answer is whatever you like the look of. Whatever's in your budget. Normally, the blanket statement for everything, CYMA, whatever, right? Because for the price of what you pay for a CYMA, you are, in general, getting a very good gun out of the box. Is it the best gun? Probably not. Is it better than a lot of guns that are more expensive? Probably, yeah. There's some outliers somewhere in everyone. Like, you could pay a lot of money for a VFC. If you want those trademarks, you've got to pay for the VFC. The internals are shit. Just how it is. You're going to need someone to sort the internals out. If you get a G&G, they are good in general, but they're not worth their RRP. You should not be paying 300 plus quid for an M4 that doesn't even have a rotary hop-up unit. But, in general, they will work. Should you buy something like a Novrich? If you want. If you're new, no. But if you've got the money, go for it. If you like the look of the thing and you think that's what you like that kind of playstyle, go for it. But ultimately, don't get a bolt action. Unless you are 100% sure you are going to play like that. Sneak up in bushes, wear a ghillie suit, spend 20 minutes to get off that one possible shot and get a kill. Maybe. But in general, that's how you play. It's slower. You use less rounds. You have to, in general, put more money into your gun. In general. Than you would an AEG, because it needs to consistently fire heavier BBs, at the 0.4 upwards usually, at higher FPS, consistent and out there. So it needs the parts in there, or it needs the build, or whatever. Should you get a DMR? Probably not. Well, should you get one if you're new? Probably not. But, again, it depends. Why do you want a DMR? Do you want the range? Do you only want to fire semi-auto anyway? You can do that with an AEG. You know, or if you've got these sight limits of like 450, some sight limits are higher, UK wise. Okay, you can possibly get that bit extra. And if you're, not exactly going to be darting about the woods and such, then maybe DMR is a role that would suit you better. But just make sure it's built well. That's all it is. Should you get something like this? If you like it and you like MP5s, yeah, it's not a bad gun. But that's the 300 quid plus mark. Should you buy this? Maybe. For your first gun? Probably not. I got this because I got an MP5 for my first gun and I liked it. I then used a slew of M4s, M14, AKs. I've used G36s. I've had a go of all different guns. I liked MP5. I liked this folding stock thing. I like the 3-round burst, even though I don't fucking use it. And I was after its predecessor, which didn't have all the fancy internal MOSFET and stuff like this does. So when this popped up, yeah, I got it. This thing. Should you get a gas blowback pistol? I've had this for about 9-10 years. I like this gun. Should you get one? But inherently, the mags are more expensive for gas. Should you get an AEP then? Are you running CQB? And do you want a small gun? You could get, just a normal pistol AEP. No blowback. Just zip, 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 zip. They're not going to match power of any of these. I think this does about 280. Normally your AEPs do about 240, 250, 220. I mean, they're sidearms, right? So they're not going to reach out and touch someone over there. They're for close quarters. And they're quite fun. So, should you get an M4? Normally, people will say yes. People will generally say, get a SEMA M4. They can cost anywhere around 100 quid to 200 quid if you want the Platinum series. Fuck it. Get a normal one. Get the suppressed one. Just get a gun. If you really want to buy a gun, head for around the 1 to 150 range, right? So then it's not a massive investment. Something like this, if you were to custom build this, 300-400 quid, right? Maybe 3. Bolt recoil. These are like, what, 350, 450 new? Should a newbie have one of these? No. These require a lot more maintenance because there's blowback, there's recoil. Anything like your gas blowbacks, any gas powered guns technically requires more maintenance that you're probably not going to know. You could learn it. You should learn basic maintenance. I would absolutely recommend that. But ultimately, what should you get? Well, why not get a G36? Most people view them as starter guns. You can get these pretty cheap. And if you want to learn how to maintain your gun, these are very easy to get started on that stuff. Very quick to take apart. They have some customization. You can customize this bit, this bit, this bit. That folds in, which people like, because CQB. The mags are literally clipped together. You don't even need a vest. And they're generally reliable. Some people absolutely adore them. Some people just go, nah, I'll get it, but I'll get an M4 or something. So it's like, well, you could get a combat machine. Back in my day, like 10-ish years ago when I first started, 120 for the long version for a CM Raider by G&G. They were the gun you got. They were the starter gun. 220 now, 250 or whatever. They've not changed, really. To be fair, they probably haven't changed. But they can be very solid. So this video should generally serve as a good example as to why that is such a vague question to ask an audience, right? Because you're not asking one person, you're putting a post on there saying, what should I get? And you're asking for people's preferences, right? And maybe you're asking for their recommendations. Nothing wrong with that. My recommendation, get a SEMA M4. Get a SEMA G36. Or a JG. Get a SEMA AK. Or a JG. You know what I mean? Like, it's get a G&G Raider. Get a whatever. The questions you've got to ask, guys. What platforms do you like? Just what do you like the look of? What's your budget? Right? Are you brand new to the game and therefore have you played a game yet? If you haven't played a game yet, why are you buying a gun? How do you know you're going to like it? Are you planning to go to an outdoor field mainly? A CQB? Or a mix? CQB, you want something shorter. You want a pistol. You want an AEP. You want a foldable thing. because you just want something a bit more compact. And then you can probably look at like 1 or 2 high caps if you don't mind winding your mag. You're done. You don't need a full rig. You can if you want. You don't need it. You've got to answer all those questions, really. And you can only really answer those questions by playing. Like I said, rent a gun. Just rent. For your first good few games, for the first 6 months or whatever of you playing, first 5 to 6 games, rent. Try other people's guns. Ask, obviously, ask. Most of the time they're like, oh hell yeah, please share in this, in the joy of my toy, right? Phrasing. And then you go, oh yeah, it's pretty good that. So, you can kind of see why that is always, in general, a difficult question. There's always more questions to your question of, what gun should I get? Do you want the simple answer? SEMA M4. One between 1 and 150. A Platinum series if you're feeling a bit fancy. So long as you have already played the game and gone through renting as many different guns as possible, just so you can get a better idea of what you like, what style you like to play. Because unless you want to just buy guns and you've got the disposable funds for that, go for it. Plenty of nice guns out there. But to stop buyer's remorse, SEMA M4, why not? SEMA G36, SEMA AK, just because they've got the best track record. Am I saying every single one of them is great or good out the box and is reliable? No. Nature of Airsoft, nature of everything. I can't stop that, right? I want something that won't need touching. You can pay people like me and other techs and such, or learn to do it yourself and buy upgrade parts. But I wouldn't. If you are new, get a standard gun and run it. Run it to the point where it's, you know what I mean? Because then, by that point, you know if you like that platform, you know how you play, and you know what you actually want from your gun. You go, I want range and accuracy. Okay. And I play on field. Right. Longer barrel, do the other stuff, great. I play CQB, I just want consistent shots, I want quick follow-up shots. MOSFET, short stroking maybe, shorter barrel, maybe a collapsible stock, shorter gun, or AEP. That will answer those questions, but it's such a broad ask, because you're asking for everyone else's opinions, which may or may not be biased. Get one of these, I've got one, it's done me well for 5 years. Okay. I have had that Raffica for 9-10 years. I barely use it. It's a sidearm. I've used it in CQB maybe 2 or 3 times, to the point where I had to buy extra mags for it. I had 1 mag for it for like 5-6 years. Whatever, just get a SEMA M4, fuck it.